What's up, boys? It's Keg from Rum Pure Bets with another video for this Saturday's UFC Fight Night main and co-main event video. Fight card's pretty bad. It's full of a bunch of unproven fighters, which usually means it's full of a ton of potential landmines that could drain your money from the sports book if you're not careful. So you got to be careful on Saturday. So the main event for Saturday night, Curtis Blaydes, Derek Lewis. All right. Now, on its face, it seems really cut and dry. Curtis Blaydes, a deservedly big favorite in this fight. He's coming in at around minus 450 over Derek Lewis. Lewis on the comeback somewhere around plus 330. And like I said, Curtis Blaydes deserves to be the big favorite here. Why? Because styles make fights, and Curtis Blaydes has a big advantage in his wrestling pedigree in this fight. So he deserves to be the favorite for sure. He's going to want to take it to the ground, you would think. And anytime Curtis Blaydes wants to go to the ground with somebody, he will take them to the ground. There's not much that you can really do. Now, I would imagine Curtis Blaydes won't be looking to throw his hands much in this fight because Derek Lewis is a problem. Like, he's got ridiculously heavy hands. He could knock out a bull if he wanted to. So, you know, Vegas thinks, and rightfully so, Curtis Blaydes' wrestling advantage should win the day over Derek Lewis's heavy hands. So I think Curtis Blaydes finishing the fight on the ground is probably your most likely outcome in the fight, but it's not a guarantee because, like I said, I think Derek Lewis has a couple paths to victory here. I think that he can touch Blaydes up when Curtis Blaydes comes for his takedowns. So if Derek Lewis can hit the button on entry while Blaydes goes for the takedowns, you can make the argument that he can catch him and hurt him and finish the fight. The other way that I see Derek Lewis coming through with the underdog chicken is Curtis Blaydes has been known to gas out. Really, we've seen both fighters late in fights gas out, but specifically Curtis Blaydes, if round 4 comes and he hasn't finished Derek Lewis, you have to think Derek Lewis is a huge guy. So you have to think that the takedown attempts that Curtis Blaydes will be coming with in round 3, 4, and 5, it's going to be a lot harder to move that weight around that Derek Lewis has. So, you know, if he can't get him down and we're in the 4th round and it becomes a pure striking battle, Curtis Blaydes has been known to tire out from all the takedown attempts. So it would not shock me to see Derek Lewis catch him in the 4th round of a fight where Derek Lewis has lost rounds 1, 2, and 3, but just because Curtis Blaydes can't get him to the ground in round 4 or 5, Derek Lewis comes, you know, with a late bolo, which we have seen Derek Lewis do before. I watched him a year and a half ago lose 24 minutes and 49 seconds of a fight and get a knockout with 11 seconds to go. So it's not out of the realm of possibility if Curtis Blaydes tires out that Derek Lewis can find a way. But like I said, I think the most likeliest outcome would be Curtis Blaydes getting Derek Lewis to the ground, finishing him by ground strikes to get the W. Now, personally, no matter who wins this fight, I don't think it goes 25 minutes. I just don't see it. And that's why the fight to not go the distance is minus 350, okay? So I think that's a solid anchor for anybody that's looking to get the price down on another fight in any fun 2-fighter parlays that you guys might want to bet. You can use this fight to not go the distance around minus 350 as an anchor to get a price down on another fighter that you happen to like on this card. So I think that's a way that you can go. Aside from that, you're not going to lay minus 450 on Curtis Blaydes. So the only way you can really back him in this spot is you got to hope for the ground and pound stoppage at some point during this fight. So you could take Blaydes by knockout at minus 130. I think that's a more reasonable price to get involved with. It's either that or you try and catch a nice dog price with Derek Lewis at plus 330 and hope that Derek, my balls is hot, Lewis finds a way to catch Curtis Blaydes late and put him down. But for the purposes of the video, we'll go with Curtis Blaydes by knockout at minus 130. I think that's a solid price. I think the likelihood that happens is good enough where there's probably some value in that number at minus 130. So we'll take the shot there. All right, co-main event. One more fight I want to talk to you guys about. Yana Kunitskaya and Caitlin Vieira. Now, I personally think that this is one of the more lopsided matchups on the entire card, and I feel pretty good about it, to be honest. Yana Kunitskaya has never really impressed me. She does not have a cohesive striking game from range at all. She's never looked comfortable throwing her hands in that cage for the majority of her career. She's a one-hit wonder. She tries to get inside. She tries to clinch with her opponents up against the cage and keep them there so they can't do any damage because she doesn't want to get hit. She's a woman that fights that does not want to get hit in a cage where all you're supposed to do is hit somebody in the face. So I've never really liked her style at all. And her other move is getting to the clinch to work for takedown attempts because she is an average grappler, I would say, at best. But it's probably the best thing that she does because her striking game really isn't good. But here's the big problem. It only works against fighters where she's at a big advantage in physicality. And Saturday, she will not have that advantage. Caitlin Vieira is coming in off a knockout loss that she suffered against one of the better fighters in the division. But she is a beast. Make no mistake about it. She's a beast, right? And especially against, the mid to lower level people in this division, she's usually at a big advantage because her game is sound. She is well-rounded. She's a better striker at range. She's got heavier hands, and she's at a huge advantage in her grappling skills. So she could pretty much win the fight any way that she wants, whether it stays on the feet or on the ground. But I think that Yana Kunitskaya is going to fear Caitlin Vieira's power and her stand-up game, and she's going to want to go to that comfort zone. And in the cage, her comfort zone is the clinch. And once she gets into the clinch up against the cage, Caitlin Vieira is strong enough to absolutely take over in that clinch. She should make her way to the ground with Yana Kunitskaya. And from there, she can do pretty much whatever she wants. She can work for a submission. She's got a great BJJ game. She can work for a stoppage by ground strikes with ground and pound. So I just don't see how she loses the fight. And that's why she's a minus 280 favorite. Again, we're not going to lay minus 280 on Caitlin Vieira. So the way that I would go, you either take her up minus 275 and use that for a two-fighter parlay, use it as an anchor. You can go ahead and do it with what we just talked about, Curtis Blaydes and Derek Lewis fight does not go the distance. That's an option. Or another fighter on this card that you like but might be a little too expensive for you. So you throw her in there, you get the price down, bada bing, bada boom, you're ready to go. Okay? Aside from that, she could finish the fight inside the distance at plus 300. I think it's a legitimate possibility that she could submit her or she can win by ground strikes. But I also think, like many women's fights, it's 80 to 85% chance that the better woman fighter in the cage is going to win by unanimous decision. So she's minus 110 to win by decision, which is a ridiculously cheap price when you consider how lopsided the matchup is. But I think it's that low because she has a real shot to finish inside the distance. So for the purposes of the video, we'll go Caitlin Vieira by decision minus 110. But I might bet both. I might take her at plus 300 and take her to win by decision at minus 110 and hope that she can get it done inside the distance. You still pick up 2 units. If she just wins the fight, then you vig out and you lose, whatever the vig is, 10 cents. I haven't decided yet which way I'm going to go. I already have her in a couple 2-fighter parlays that I feel pretty good about. But I'm going to make a straight bet on her, and I lean that it'll be by decision at minus 110. So we'll go with that for now. So that's it, boys. Curtis Blaydes by knockout, minus 130. Caitlin Vieira by decision, minus 110. I'll be on air with Keg Live all weekend long. Saturday, we got the UFC. Sunday, we got the O'Reilly Auto Parts 253 NASCAR Cup race. Join the movement. $20 a week, $60 a month. Take a shot over at runpurebets.com. And aside from that, let the action run pure. I'll see you tomorrow.